Have you ever felt it? That persistent, quiet ache deep in your chest. A weariness that seeps into your very bones, far deeper than any physical exhaustion. It's the kind of tired that sleep can't quite mend, the heavy, intangible burden of ceaseless striving, of an internal competition you didn't consciously sign up for. We live in a world that never stops whispering, then shouting about achievement. It constantly beckons us to be better, faster, stronger, richer, happier, more put together than the next person. And without realizing it, many of us find ourselves perpetually running a race we never truly wanted to enter, an endless marathon against phantoms of our own making, often leaving us feeling breathless and perpetually behind. This isn't just about ambition. It's about comparison, the constant, subtle, often subconscious measurement of our own lives against the curated highlights of others. Perhaps you felt this gnawing pressure in your career, the endless scroll through social media updates from colleagues, the glance over your shoulder at a friend's seemingly effortless promotion, a peer's glamorous new venture, the online highlight reels of success stories that seem to mock your own quiet, steady progress. Or perhaps it's closer to home within your social circles, a quiet, unspoken competition over relationships, appearances, possessions, or even just who seems to have life more figured out or perfectly aligned. It's a pervasive current, pulling us along, pushing us to measure our worth against an ever-shifting external yardstick, forgetting that its very nature is to keep moving. Just out of reach, we become expert collectors of external data, meticulously noting what everyone else is doing, yet forgetting to check in with the only true compass, our own heart. This endless pursuit, this invisible contest, slowly but surely saps our vital energy, draining us of joy and peace. It fills our minds with a relentless cacophony of noise, with doubts that whisper not enough, not smart enough, not successful enough, not lovable enough, not achievable in the blanky enough. We try to mold ourselves into idealized versions of others, versions we see projected around us, losing sight of the unique contours and beautiful imperfections of our own being. We push harder, climb steeper, stretch further, always seeking that elusive external validation, that fleeting moment of feeling enough by someone else's standards. But the finish line always seems to move, dissolving just as we approach it, replaced by another, further one, an ever-receding mirage. It's like trying to catch mist in your hands or trying to measure the boundless wind. There's a profound irony in it. The more we compare ourselves, the less we truly appreciate the unique beauty and intrinsic value of our own lives. The more we chase external affirmation, the emptier we often feel inside, like a beautifully crafted vessel that remains hollow, echoing with a sense of lack. Think of the restless nights, the low-level anxiety that tightens your stomach, the moments of genuine joy that are suddenly overshadowed by the thought, someone else surely has it better. This isn't living. This is performing. This is a constant state of defense and pursuit, a self-imposed prison built from perceived shortcomings and others' supposed triumphs, taking us further and further away from our authentic selves. We give away our precious present moment, sacrificing it on the altar of future, imagined victories over others, or past regrets of not being there yet. But what happens truly when you reach a point where the exhaustion becomes too great, when the weight of constant comparison feels unbearable? What happens when you simply decide, consciously or subconsciously, to step off the track? What happens when you realize that the race itself, the relentless competition for an ever-moving goalpost, was perhaps an illusion, a collective dream you unknowingly bought into, a story you no longer wish to tell? Imagine for a moment simply stopping, not quitting on your dreams, not abandoning effort, not sinking into apathy or giving up on growth, but stopping the e-comparison, stopping the deep-seated reflexive need to be better than, or even just as good as, someone else. This isn't surrender. It's a silent, powerful rebellion. It's about recognizing, with every fiber of your being, that your life's journey is profoundly singular, a path carved by your own unique spirit, experiences, and destiny, unlike any other that has ever been or ever will be. Here will be. It's a realization that hits you with the quiet force of a profound truth. Your path is your own, and no one else's journey can define or diminish yours. The moment you truly stop competing with everyone else, a profound silence begins to descend, washing over you like a gentle tide. The clamor of external expectations quietens, like a storm finally passing, leaving behind a clear, refreshed landscape. The frantic whispers of not enough begin to fade into the background, losing their seductive, draining power. It's a moment of immense liberation, a quiet but powerful act of reclaiming your sovereignty, your inner kingdom, from a system that often profits from your insecurity and perpetual striving. You start to see yourself not as a competitor in a crowded arena, perpetually battling for recognition, but as an individual, a unique and irreplaceable note in the grand harmonious symphony of existence. Your energy, once scattered in outward comparison and anxious pursuit, begins to gather within, forming a solid, unwavering core of self-acceptance and quiet confidence. This is where you begin to feel truly present, perhaps for the first time in a very long time, grounded in your own skin, in your own moment. This is where the real healing begins, deep within the sanctuary of your own being. When you release the suffocating pressure of external benchmarks, you create sacred space, mental, emotional, and spiritual space, for authentic self-discovery. You start to listen, not to the world's insistent demands, but to your own inner rhythm, to the quiet pulse of your unique desire. What do you truly desire? What brings you genuine, unadulterated joy, the kind that asks for no applause, but simply lights up your soul from within? What kind of life resonates with your deepest essence, not with what society dictates or what your peers showcase on their carefully curated highlight reel? The answers begin to emerge, not as loud, insistent pronouncements, but as gentle, persistent whispers from the quiet depths of your being, guiding you back to your true north. You might find yourself gravitating towards simpler pleasures, pursuits that once seemed insignificant because they didn't measure up to external grandeur. You might rediscover forgotten passions, a love for painting, for writing, for walking barefoot in nature, for learning a quiet craft, for meaningful conversations, not for recognition or accolades, but for the sheer delight of engagement, for the sheer presence it brings. The act of creating, connecting, learning, or simply being becomes its own profound reward. There's no audience to impress, no judge to appease. Only the quiet, soul-deep satisfaction of aligning your actions with your truest, most authentic self. It's like tending to a hidden garden where the most beautiful blooms are cultivated for your own inner peace and joy. This profound shift isn't always easy, nor is it a switch flipped overnight. The old habits of comparison are deeply ingrained, like well-worn grooves in the mind, pathways of thought etched by years of conditioning. They are like phantom pains, occasionally resurfacing, reminding you of the old race, the old anxieties, the old feelings of inadequacy. But with each conscious choice to return to your own path, to honor your own pace, to listen to your inner voice over the clamor of external expectations, these phantom pains lessen their grip. You begin to cultivate a profound sense of inner security, an unshakable knowing that your inherent value isn't dependent on being better than others, or even on external achievements, but simply on being. Your existence itself, in its messy, beautiful, perfectly imperfect form, is enough. You start to recognize the beauty in individual differences, not as threats or measures of inadequacy, but as vital, vibrant components of a rich and diverse world. You can genuinely celebrate the successes of others, not with a twinge of envy or a hidden competitive urge, but with an open heart, understanding that their light does not diminish yours. In fact, it might even inspire you, not to compete, but to simply shine more brightly in your own unique and authentic way. This is not about withdrawing from the world, but about engaging with it from a place of deep wholeness and self-acceptance, rather than a place of longing, comparison, or lack. The quiet acceptance that follows this journey is a beautiful, liberating truth, a profound state of grace. It's the deep understanding that your worth is inherent, an undeniable facet of your existence, not something to be earned through endless competition or external validation. It's recognizing that the diverse, magnificent tapestry of humanity is made infinitely richer by each unique thread, by each individual living out their authentic truth, not by threads trying to outshine or overpower each other. Your life is not a performance for others. It is your sacred journey, a unique song meant only for you to sing, a story only you can truly tell. When you truly stop competing, you don't lose anything of real value. In fact, you gain everything that truly matters. You gain your peace, a deep, abiding stillness. You gain your authenticity, the genuine, unshakable connection to who you truly are, stripped of all pretense. You gain the precious ability to truly see and appreciate others for who they are, without the distorting lens of rivalry or judgment, allowing for deeper, more meaningful connection. You begin to understand that true abundance isn't found in having more than others, but in having enough for yourself, in the richness of your own unique experience, and in the profound, simple beauty of your own being. You become like a tree in a vast, ancient forest. It doesn't compare its height to the tree next to it, or its leaves to the tree across the clearing. It simply stands, draws nourishment from the earth, stretches towards the sun, provides shade, gives fruit in its season, and contributes to the thriving ecosystem, fully and beautifully itself. Your purpose is not to outshine, but to simply shine in your own particular, magnificent way. This journey inward, away from the competitive fray, leads you home. Home to yourself. Home to a deep, abiding stillness where true contentment resides, where joy is found not in victory over others, but in the profound, quiet truth of simply being. It is in this stillness, in this quiet acceptance, that you discover the true, boundless freedom of simply existing, unburdened by the crushing need to be anything more or less than exactly who you are. The race, that exhausting, self-imposed race, is finally over. And you, my dear friend, are finally free to walk your own path at your own perfect, unique pace.